All right. Hey, guys. What's up, everybody? Welcome. It is Thursday night. If you're watching live on YouTube, if you're listening to the pod, great. And it is all over. 3 games left for the 49ers, but nothing could be a more appropriate ending. There's nothing the Dolphins, the Lions, the Cardinals can do to you that the Rams didn't just do. A 12-6 final. A 12-6 final. I saw Josh Dubow, the Associated Press, posted that it's the first time in Niners history they lost twice to the same team after leading by 3+ points to start the fourth quarter. By the time this game got to the fourth quarter with the Niners leading by 3, although the Rams were knocking on the door in the red zone, by the time we got this thing to the fourth quarter, I think there's not a soul left on earth. And it's long since been this way. Not a soul left on earth in any way, shape, or form surprised by what we witnessed today. Another day of missed opportunities by everybody. Although you have to say, even though blowing a coverage on 3rd and 8 with the season on the line is bad, to get 2 red zone stops, 2 possessions, Puka Nacua gets the big play. You think they're going to run down the field and put this game away, score a touchdown. They didn't. And the defense made 2 red zone stops, and it was as inept, disheveled. There have been times where the offense has not made plays or been able to play complementary football, marry the run game and the pass game together. There have been plenty of days like that. To be as disheveled as they were, and a lot of, Deebo was disheveled. I know reading the chat before we got started here, listening to the boos, people did not wait. It only got worse. But it sounded like Deebo got booed coming off the field after the second series. The second series where, Deebo had, it wasn't as bad as the drop that came later in the game, but I thought the first series of the game, the first play of the game, I would count that as a drop. Good coverage, but a drop. Second series, he they hit the big play to Kittle. He runs into Guerrero on a handoff while he's coming in motion. Then he gets the ball and has a 1-yard carry. They hand it off to him out of the shotgun. And at that point, it felt like everybody was done. But he was not. He was not. And, when you are the most expensive player on the offense, which he is, if you don't count, Trent Williams is not available. He's the most expensive player on the team. I'll tell you what, I saw a lot of the, is Kyle trying to win the game or make Deebo happy, which is probably not a serious comment, right? Like if you're saying that, it's a clever thing to say, and it made me laugh. Like I saw it a few times, but when we have the serious part of the conversation, and I know his numbers have been awful. They ain't got a lot. I don't know if you noticed, they can't throw the ball down the field. They cannot throw the ball down the field with any shred of consistency. They're what's the word? Bad. They're bad at throwing the ball down the field. Today they're particularly bad. So, Deebo drops what might have been the only touchdown of not might have been. I guess it might have been if he scored a touchdown on it, then it would have been the only touchdown of the game. And then it felt like it was done. Like he goes to the sideline, head back. But there's not a whole lot you can do. You got him, you got Jennings, you got Kittle, you got Guerrero. I mean, Pearsall caught a ball. I could throw it to Kittle on every play. Oh, yeah, throw it to Kittle on every play. I would have loved that if they had thrown 15 straight balls to Kittle. This is not a defense of Deebo Samuel. I'm just pointing out, like, they had throwing him the ball is the thing they got to do. And he dropped it. He blew it. It's frustrating. You put a target on your back. I think sometimes guys, And I understand it because it's tempting. It's really tempting and Ayuk did it. Both Niners wide receivers have done it. And you would have hoped that Deebo would have learned the lesson from Ayuk. Ayuk spent the offseason. It started as fun and games. I'm messing around with people. I'm just messing around with people. I'll post this FaceTime with me and Jaden Daniels. It's not serious. I'm just messing around with people. And then it gets serious. And you think that you can just mess around with people, put the phone down, and pretend like it never happened because you're just messing around with people. And then it actually starts to affect you. So Deebo did the press conference in the locker room the other day. He just kind of grinned and smiled about it and whatever. It doesn't the tweet doesn't it doesn't bother me, but you got to back it up. You're going to say no, I'm just messing around. Okay, but you got to back it up. And, not only did he not back it up, it might have actually adversely affected him today. Now it's raining. There's a lot going on. I am not in and there's a whole season to talk about. I want to talk about this game first. I am not in the Deebo Samuel alone cost them the game because I thought Purdy was as bad as Deebo today. But Purdy didn't put a target on his back this week by creating noise when there was no reason for noise. Like, you want the ball more. Yeah. I mean, there's 10 guys that want something different to be happening. Dre Greenlaw just wants to play 4 quarters. You don't see him tweeting about it. I mean, God, he looked good. Dre Greenlaw looked fantastic. And then he couldn't, I don't know. We'll see. As we're doing this live on Thursday night, Connor, we'll all keep an eye out for what Kyle Shanahan says after the game. I can guess now we're going to get an MRI or blah, 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 something like that. It just really sucks. It really sucks for Dre Greenlaw, who you hope it's just got very tired. Calf got overworked. But there were glimpses of what it was supposed to look like on defense. There were glimpses, and then it went away. But all in all, you give whether you get 2 quarters or 4 quarters out of Dre Greenlaw, you gave up 12 points. You had 2 red zone stops. Sean McVay tried to dunk on the 49ers by running a Matthew Stafford read option, and it could have cost them the game. There are a lot of things that could have cost them the game. The fact that what did they punt? 5 straight possessions to start the game? Was that what it was, Connor? 5 or 4? 5? Like 3 and outs. Like they weren't getting a first down in the first quarter. That game had so many possessions in the first half, and then the Niners ran, 20 plays, 22 plays in the second half. But Kittle came ready to play, as he has. Kittle has played fantastic football all year. He's been, I think, even more than you would ask your captain to be in a bad season. I would say the same for Fred Warner. Deebo Samuel's a captain on this team. And this week didn't act like one, didn't play like one. And it's one thing if you have a bad game. It's another thing if you have a bad game because you affected yourself in a negative way by just bringing they had. Now, you might have thought they were hollow. I thought they were partly hollow, but nothing but good vibes coming out of that Bears game. The margins are thin. Don't do anything to screw it up. Kyle Shanahan says Greenlaw, Achilles and knee, a little fatigue and soreness, which to be expected. Okay, hopefully that's all it is for his sake, because you can see a world where, he's back on a 1-year contract and, doesn't go sign somewhere else. He doesn't find a 3-year deal out there for big money, comes back, I think that's a very good scenario for the 49ers. Comes back on a 1-year deal, gets healthy, stays healthy, and has a great year. That's what you'd like to see for him. But, for a guy who was essentially in a contract year, Deebo, in a contract year, Brandon Ayuk goes out, you become, here you go. The offseason, there was talk about trading Ayuk for a minute. There was certainly, remember the draft day, round 2, are they going to trade Deebo Samuel? He's got money coming, but it's not a lot of it's guaranteed. We've had 2024 targeted as for 2 years now. It's Deebo's last year on the 49ers. So it's up to him to either make them believe that they have to have him back and have to find a way to get him back, or make somebody else believe that they have to have him. I mean, he's an untradeable player in the offseason. And when I say untradeable, I just mean for anything of value. And that's a pretty crazy place to be, considering he was not long ago wide receiver 1. The run game with him, I think when he got booed after that running play on the second series of the game, he ran into Garendo, then he ran the ball. I think it was a boo of him, and it was probably a little bit of a boo of Kyle Shanahan. But regardless, it was a reminder that I was right again when I made the very non-controversial and obvious point that many other people, many of you could have made and did make on your own and didn't need me to say. Beating the Bears, the Niners didn't all get fixed all of a sudden. Everyone thought like, oh, Kyle, he changed a bunch of stuff. Finally, against the Bears, he did what I told him to do, and it worked. And now look, no, it was the Bears. Is it you or is it me? It's you. It was the Bears. Quote, this is a real quote, Connor. This is a quote from Kyle. Deandre Campbell said he didn't want to play, quote, unquote. If you've been watching the show or listening to the show for a long time, many years, my favorite quote this year has been one that I invented, which is the greatest, the most invisible superpower is consistency. That's what it is. And then somebody said, and we amended it after somebody made the point that invisibility is the most invisible superpower. So the second most invisible superpower is consistency. Before that quote, my favorite quote was Maya Angelou. There's a few different versions, but basically, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And this night is not about Deandre Campbell. This season is not about Deandre Campbell, although it a little bit is. They never found a way to replace. That's one of the many elements of this year. You can't replace Dre Greenlaw. The effort, the commitment, the sacrifice for one's team, all that stuff. The least you could do is find a non-negative player. I must say non-negative. I mean, doesn't play angry. I just mean somebody who at least fits in. And they tried to sign Kendricks, and obviously that wouldn't have been some grand coup. And then they got Deandre Campbell. And the guy that always blames everybody else is the guy that you don't want on your team. And he was a blame everybody else guy at his last 2 stops. And guess what? They needed him today. Dre Greenlaw got hurt. He got benched. He got mad. Said he didn't want to play. Cool. As your team gets more expensive, you have to cut corners sometimes. When you get to draft all your guys and evaluate all your guys, when you're stuck in free agency with a limited amount of money, it's a different story. They were stuck in free agency with a limited amount of money, a limited position, and you get what you get. So no surprise there. He's not the guy, but he never was going to be the guy. But it's nice that he showed who he was, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. What difference does it make at this point? He was bad from the start, and he finished bad. And that's where I give George Kittle and Fred Warner so much credit. Now they have a different level of equity. Fred Warner, given the foot injury, we'll see what happens here. They say he can't injure it further. It'll be interesting. Does he play these last 3 games? What do you do? But a permanent captaincy to Fred Warner and it's the kind of thing where, and George Kittle, it's the kind of thing that, like, even if you were bringing Deebo back, you'd get together next year and it'd be time to vote for captains, and you'd remember the way this season is ending and go, It's too bad. It's too bad because his career has been filled with so many massive moments in which he stepped up and carried them. And when they needed him most, they turned to him, and he didn't. I still don't know how he ran into Isaac Guerrero. I have never seen that before. The receiver going in motion, running into the right, like, he's the rookie. You're the veteran. Let's try not to screw it up for him. I did not appreciate it. What one thing was clear was Kyle Shanahan was determined. We're just going to keep running Guerrero, and at some point he's going to break one. It was all they had. It wasn't going to be Deebo at 2 carries for 3 yards. It wasn't going to be Deebo at 7 targets, 3 catches, and 16 yards. This is what we got. It's one thing to fail. It's one thing to everybody does. To drop a touchdown, brutal. It's raining. To do it in a week where you brought the spotlight on yourself is it's painful. That was brutal to see. I said before the Bears game that with 5 games left and a lot of history in a short amount of time for Brock Purdy, he has the chance to do something 6 years later that Jimmy Garoppolo did 6 years ago. And that was make money in 5 games. Brock Purdy has earned a lot. He certainly has earned a lot more than Jimmy Garoppolo earned in his first year with the 49ers when he had 5 games to earn a big offseason contract. And for, a few minutes, he was the highest paid quarterback in the league because he signed a contract early. And that came with a great 5-game performance to end the year. On the Amazon broadcast, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, the Amazon, it's very quick. There's no latency. Like you get the action very quickly. It was good. Not relevant here, guy. But before the game, Albert Breer went on and said, I can say without reservation, he's the quarterback of the future for them. It's a matter of not if, but when they extend Brock Purdy. And, of course, that is not the question. The question is not, will they have Brock Purdy back at quarterback next year? The question is, how much are they going to pay him to do it? And, his agent is certainly going to argue that this season is not on him, that a lot of things went wrong. And that's true. A lot of things did go wrong, but everybody who did play is responsible for their 152nd or whatever of a failure of a season that's not going to result in the playoffs. And for a team who was a Super Bowl favorite, that's not just a small failure. It's a massive, massive failure of a season that you can't just attribute to injuries. And right now, he's a guy who is trending towards the pace is 18 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And It's rainy. Yep. It's kind of cold. It's 52 degrees. I mean, I haven't looked at the full schedule. This could be, let's just look real quick at where every game is getting played this weekend. Like, this is going to be one of the warmest games played in the league this weekend, in outdoor stadiums. There's a game in Cleveland. It's a game in Carolina. It's a game in Jacksonville. Giants have a home game. Broncos have a home game. Titans play outside. They have a home game. Eagles have a home game. Seahawks. Yeah, Seahawks play Sunday night. It's going to be colder there than it was here. That might be what we just watched was one of the warmest games of the weekend. Now, it was raining, and rain sucks if you're a quarterback. But I think he shoulders a lot of the Niners' failure on Thursday night, along with Deebo, along with the head coach, right? But they have consistently, in dry conditions, in sunny conditions, in warm conditions, been a 9-hitter when it comes to hitting the deep ball. In fact, most of your 9-hole hitters in baseball hit at a higher rate than the 49ers hit deep balls. Deep balls are a low percentage play. And if you don't get very good separation, they're even lower percentage plays. The Niners, for the most part in the Shanahan era, don't have burners. They don't have guys that get open. They just don't do it. And Brock Purdy doesn't throw it very well. And Deebo dropped the slant that would have been a touchdown, perhaps. Definitely would have been a first down on 3rd and 8. But after that, on 2nd and 20, Deebo is open again over the middle. Chance at redemption. Contested play. You watch the play live and you go, oh, through the defender's hands, through Deebo's hands. Deebo, you got to make the play. But go watch that play again a couple times. The ball's underthrown, and the ball takes a long time to get to Deebo Samuel. Second possession of the second half. 1st down and 10. Juwan Jennings, I think the L22 reveal was open. But your fast guy, Ricky Pearsall's got a man beat down the middle of the field. Gets broken up. Why? Ricky had to slow down. 3rd possession. 2nd and 11. You're at the 34-yard line. You've got a running back over the middle. Check it down to him. You've got Ricky Pearsall out in the right flat by the numbers. Check it down to him. You make either one of those decisions, it's a layup 8 yards, and you're going to have about a 3rd down and 3, a 3rd down and 4, a third, maybe, if somebody made a great play, a 3rd down and 6. Maybe a 1st down if somebody breaks a tackle. But you're going to be in position. You're going to be at like the 26-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and less than medium. If you don't get it, you're going to have a 35-yard field goal. You're in good shape. Instead, Purdy throws it deep to Juwan Jennings in triple coverage. It was a prayer. Ball game over. Except the ball game's not over. The Rams leave a few seconds left. And Deebo has a solid return, and then he gets horse-collared, and then you run a play. And Ricky Pearsall's open. He's open. The play is there to be made. If he catches the ball, he's going to get out of bounds with 5 or 6 seconds at the 33-yard line, and oh my God. Good news. You have Juwan Jennings. He's caught a Hail Mary to win a game in Tennessee. He's big. He catches contested balls here. Ricky Pearsall can jump. George Kittle's, physical. You're going to have a chance at a miracle. And the throw wasn't even close. I don't know if tonight, if this game, a 12-6 game, is a box score game. I'll tell you, Matthew Stafford was 4 of 12 at halftime and finished 16 of 27. So what is that? 12 of 15 in the second half? 12 of 15 in the second half for Matthew Stafford? Wow. That was good. Purdy at halftime was 9 of 19, finished 14 of 31. So that's 5 of 11 in the second half. That's not good. That's bad. And that said, to me, not a box score game. Weird game, rainy game, just find a way to win game. 14 of 31 for 142, no touchdowns and a pick, a QB rating of 45, whatever. I don't care. You can ball that up and throw it in the trash. Bad throws in big spots. In moments where you had to push the ball down the field, couldn't do it. That was really frustrating. And it was frustrating not just because it lost you the game, but I think from his perspective, even if you, like, there's a world where you lose this game, but you come out of it going, all right, he went toe-to-toe with Stafford. Stafford wasn't great, but he got good. He wasn't great, and it got worse. And every time this year the Niners have been in a 3-point game, going in the fourth quarter, short lead going in the fourth quarter, trailing going in the fourth quarter, I've gotten really excited because to me it's been an opportunity for him. You know, it's not just the quarterback, but as we know with guys like Joe Montana and Aaron Rodgers, this is where you just kind of build everything up a little bit. I don't want to say set the narrative because the narrative's not, narratives are not, it's not real life. But you just kind of start to build. And every time I say, like, hey, man, we're just looking for a fourth quarter comeback, that type of drive. It's not that he never does it. People always be like, well, he did it against the Raiders. Don't you remember? Yeah, vaguely. It was a long time ago. But there were just so many opportunities to just kind of go start building. You don't have to win a Super Bowl as a quarterback to just start building up your kind of war chest of experiences, moments where you've proven to your teammates, to your coach, to yourself, certainly to the fans, but to yourself and to your teammates, that, that's okay if we're down 7 going to the fourth quarter. It's okay we're only up 3. We haven't moved the ball. Don't worry. We got this late, right? That's what Mahomes does. And no one's expecting Mahomes. It's Mahomes on an elite level doing it, right? But, this is a time where we're getting ready for the point where his agent's going to argue for what he's worth. And it's a little awkward if you're in the Niners because you're like, yeah, we love him. We love him. And some of you think this is too much, but we love him. We want to pay him $45 million a year. And make it like 120 guaranteed, 100 guaranteed, 3 years. Get out of it in 2, right? Like if you go look at the Kirk Cousins contract, like that's low, but like somewhere in that range. And you also want them to believe that you think he's the future. To me, tonight's a night where you go from a pro Brock Purdy guy in the cold in Buffalo. That was the game you got. In the rain here, that was the game you got. Bears game in the sun. You can't live off that. And if you're not going to have the big box score, if you're not going to have the inflated numbers, like Dak has these inflated numbers at the end of the year. Well, that's fine. I don't need that. I know a lot of that's hollow. Like he's going to hit the offseason on pace for 18 touchdowns and 11 picks. You don't become a top 5, let's say, paid quarterback coming off of 18 touchdowns, 11 picks. You don't. And it's why I've been saying now for a little while, I think they're going to pay him. They're going to extend him. Fine. Like that's not the interesting opinion. The interesting opinion is for how much. And I don't think it's going to be for $60 million a year. I don't see how they justify it. And I don't see how his agent has a winning argument on that. And miss me with, oh yeah, but you got to pay him for past performance. You got a cheap quarterback. And again, like the whole thing's been incredible. And it can still be very good and very beneficial. And he can still make a lot of plays. And he can get you to the playoffs. And he can win you games. And there's so much he can do. But it's still got to get better. And it's got to be more than, it's got to be with healthy Christian McCaffrey really makes the machine go, right? Better offensive line really makes the machine go. Maybe we should start selling the hats tomorrow. Is this a good day to start selling the 262 hats? What do you think, Connor? You think the 262 hats will sell as fast tomorrow as they would have on September 1st? This season is about so much more than Brock. But it's a lot about Brock because he's the quarterback, and everything's a lot about the quarterback. Somebody had a comment here that went away. It didn't go away. I just can't find it. It was basically, and this happens, like people, when I talk about some of Brock stuff, you get a lot of like, well, Matthew Stafford's got a good arm and the Niners dropped 2 picks. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Right. I said you don't win the game if you don't intercept Matthew Stafford, and he's going to give you the chance to intercept him because that's what happens. And they had chances to do it. Now, Tano Hufunga's got a club on his hand, but yeah, they just missed chances. Sorry, somebody just sent me a text. Connor, can you get the or maybe I can. I guess. Let's hear. I'll just play Mooney Ward at his locker talking about Deandre Campbell. Let's.
I mean, he's a professional. He's been playing for a long time. I mean, if he didn't want to play, he shouldn't have dressed out. He could have told him that before the game. So I feel like there was some subtle shit that he did. Definitely hurt the team because, D went down. And we needed a linebacker, and I think Flan was banged up too. So for him to do that, that's some subtle stuff to me, in my opinion. Like, it's probably going to get cut soon. So, it is.
Could you hear that? That's some sucker shit, and he's probably going to get cut. I appreciate the standard, at least. Quitting on your team is unacceptable while you're dressed out. What a clown. Got there as an excuse maker, leaves as a whiner. I mean, that's weak. But, that's what happens on losing teams. That's why it's remarkable that people are mad at each other on the Eagles. They're a winning team. But now is not the time to redirect attention at the fact that the Eagles have those issues. They're a good football team, and they're going to the playoffs this year. The Niners are not a good football team this year. And they're not going to the playoffs. The franchise is not unraveling. That's my opinion. Probably 3 weeks ago, I would put up some of these like a fire Shanahan and then talk about it, but I got no interest in that today. Somebody asked who was talking. That was Mooney Ward. That was Mooney Ward talking there. Good quotes from him. What did I said before the game? I got to review this take. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, no catches. That's a far cry from the Cooper Kupp who had 58 catches and 58. I think it was 58 catches, 53 catches, okay, let me try again. 51 catches, 583 yards, and 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games against the Niners. But he hadn't played against the Niners in 2 years, over 2 years. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp had never played against the 49ers together in the same game. Thought we were in trouble when Puka Nacua had that catch off of Mooney Ward's head. All right, so there's a take I had to revisit. I'm just going through the checklist. Did Kyle say anything about Bosa? Let's see. Talked about the Bears. That game meant nothing. Deebo got booed. Okay. Sorensen, 4 drives, no first downs in the first quarter. First time that's ever happened to McVay. Got 2 stops, 13 straight red zone touchdowns allowed. Got 2 stops in crunch time. That's significant. All right, let's get to some of the comments here. That Connor's been keeping an eye on the comments, pinning some things. It's weird these super chats don't light up in a different color, but here we go. Jordan. Super chat from Jordan. Rain is an issue with Purdy, and he can't throw down the field. Why can't we call a spade a spade? Purdy isn't him. Deebo is washed. Kyle is burnt. All right. I guess I am going to read one of the Fire Kyle comments. For $5, I guess I'll read it. I'm not a Kyle is burnt taker. Deebo, his time with the Niners appears to be coming to an ignominious finish. And Purdy isn't him. To me, what he is now, and I know for years I used to talk about this. Greg Pop used to always say this back when I was working on the same radio station as him. Just because you pay somebody, they don't change. So, the future then becomes this is as important a contract as anyone's going to sign in the NFL in this offseason, is what can they do and what can't they do around Brock Purdy when he gets paid. Jordan adds, super chat, when your coach parties with the team, it is over. All right, let's see what else Connor starred here. RJ says, sad to see. Deebo was my favorite player to watch, but it's Dunsky. They deserve to sit out the postseason. Pathetic. Comment, I say keep Sorensen for another year. Let him get a healthy defense. They may. Be interesting what Kyle Shanahan's sort of review of this game defense, not publicly, but just what does he think coming out of this game? Because in the same way that, like, and I know people don't want to say, well, Brock could lose some money here down the stretch. These games don't matter. I know this. If they won out and he threw 4 touchdowns in every game, that would make him money. Just like if Brandon Ayuk were the Super Bowl MVP and the Niners had won the Super Bowl, that contract would have gotten done faster, I believe. So the same can be said for Sorensen. Like, is Jeff Ulbrich out there? Yes. Is that who the Niners wanted to hire last year? Yes. Is it an automatic you hire Jeff Ulbrich? Well, I don't know. That depends. Like, the first year Robert Saleh wasn't all smooth sailing. And they made some changes. They believed in him, and it was really good year 2. J-Mac force feeding Deebo was a great idea. Alfredo, Deebo lost the game. On one hand, you like a guy kind of not puffs his chest out, but just kind of puts himself in the spotlight. You give him the chance. You give him the chance to back it up, which that's not what was happening. But Giuliano says, if there wasn't a flag, Deebo not taking a touchback was stupid. Disagree. I mean, Deebo's almost taken 2 back. They had penalties on both of them this year. Connor says, Purdy is just like Goff. Give him a great team and good weather, and he'll light you up. Goff had a good game in bad weather this year. What game was that? Were they in Buffalo or Green Bay? No, Green Bay was not a... Green Bay? Was it Green Bay? I thought it was a home... Where did Goff played? Anyway, Goff had a good game in bad weather. Will asks, what's the third most invisible superpower? Okay, so it's invisibility is number 1. Consistency is number 2. I'd say number 3 is cleanliness. If you're dirty, everyone notices. If you're clean, see, that's the thing is like, if you're, let's say you cohabitate. All right. I can speak from my experience. So to all the married guys, like the one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to vacuum the bathroom when you're home alone. Because you don't know if it got noticed or not. Right. You want to vacuum that bathroom when your wife can see like, oh, dude, he's putting in the work. Like, you don't want to, if you create 7 dishes, that's probably like a 2 dish per meal pace, which if you're alone, that's like, if I'm home alone, somehow I'm going through 7 forks, right? If my wife's home, like I don't know how many forks I use, because they're in, they're out, they're back in the drawer, whatever. So I would say the third most invisible superpower is cleanliness. Because you don't know how if somebody's really clean, like, you don't even see it happening. It's just like, it's just, now if they're messy, it's like you see it happening. It's like everywhere. It's like, oh. But if somebody's clean, but that's a superpower to stay consistently mise en place, stuff going away where it's supposed to go. There's not towels out. There's not hoodies out. The floor is clean. But that stuff can happen in the shadows. And you don't realize that there's no, long hair on the ground in the bathroom until there is some, and then you see it. And you're like, oh, we should probably clean it here. So I hadn't thought about it, Will. It's a good question, but I would say cleanliness is the third most invisible superpower. Thank you for that question, as any politician would say. I appreciate the question of why I suck. Evan, super chat. Deebo saying he's not struggling, but instead saying he's not getting the ball is ironic. Couldn't even catch the ball. Armando, Deebo going to cancel his show on Bleacher Report. Is he still doing the Kay Adams thing? He's still doing that, but that's not the Bleacher show, right, Connor? Do you know? I put Connor on the screen. That was a bad spot there for you. Yeah, that was a bad spot for you.
I don't think he's canceled the show. I know Kay Adams has a few receivers on each week to talk, like Devontae. I don't know, though. Is Deandre Campbell leaving early to go get ready for Deebo's show?
I don't think he's. If you told me Deandre was on Deebo's show this week, I would watch.
Yeah, for the ratings,
I would watch. All right, Bet. That was a Connor. Quick thinking there. Tim B says Stafford's a closer. Brock is not. He has not proven to be one. Peanut says bad offensive line play. Shanahan trying to force the ball to Deebo. Poor play calling. The play gets called. My feeling is twofold. One, now they didn't run a lot of plays, so it can be misleading if I say I'm being transparent in the thought process here. If I say, well, Deebo only had 7 targets and 2 carries, let's just call it 9 touches. It's not 9 touches. It's 5 touches, but let's call it 9. That's not that much. Now, how many plays did they run today? They ran 53 plays. So let's just say, again, that it's 9 touches. That's roughly a little less than 20% of your plays go to Deebo Samuel. Well, today, about 20%, right? Just whatever 9 divided by 53 is, 18% or whatever it is. Go to Deebo. Well, yeah, 17%. He's the highest paid skill guy on your team. Again, who do you have? You have Deebo, you have Jennings, you have Kittle that you can rely on. Well, you thought. Then Guarendo's going to get a bunch of touches, and no targets for Juszczyk today. Ricky Pearsall got 4 targets. I felt like he got 2 or 3. Well, okay, I felt like 3. So, their offense today was Kittle, Jennings, Guarendo, Samuel, Pearsall. Those are all the people that got targets. All the people that got carries, Guarendo, 16, Deebo, 2, Purdy, 1. I got no problem in 53 plays with Deebo Samuel, the highest paid player on your offense, getting 9 opportunities to touch the ball. It's nothing. What are we talking about? Oh, they're force feeding Deebo. What? He was open up the seam, missed him. Open up the seam for a touchdown, missed him. Threw it to him on the first play of the game, dropped it. The run game's non-existent. But like, that's bad play calling. I'm not here to say it was good. I'm not even here to discuss the play calling's not even a thought to me today, but there's plenty of legitimate criticisms. Air quotes, forcing the ball to Deebo, 9 touches, 17% of their plays today. Who else are you giving the ball to? Like, I know you're mad at him, and he hasn't been good this year, and he drops the ball, and the run plays don't work. You got to ride or die with him. He's what you got. There's no other options. These are the options. This is where I like to quote the movie Argo. You seen the movie Argo? Really good movie. And they're plotting how to get they weren't captured. They were hiding. I think they were hiding. I don't think they were captured. But they're trying to get they're hatching a government plan. The CIA is hatching a plan. And they got these plans. They're going to ride some bikes and do some shit, whatever. And the head of the CIA is like, this is the best plan we have. And I don't think it was Affleck. It was, what's his name? Breaking Bad. He goes, sir, of all of our bad options, this is by far the best option. Now, it's not quite that. I mean, George Kittle's a pretty damn good option. John Jennings is a good option. Argo? What did I say? Did I say Argo? These are fine. But I don't. Kyle Schaefer. 9 touches. Catch the ball. A. B. That was 10 minutes to make the point A. Point B. You call the play. And then Brock Purdy goes through the read and decides what to do with the ball. And since Deebo is one of your 5 available options on offense today, he's going to be one of the people that Brock Purdy might throw the ball to. Super chat from Alien the D Gin. This might be coming from one of those drones over Jersey tonight. When was the last time we missed the playoffs in December? Forgot what this felt like. Sigh. Yeah, what, 2020? Time to check tankathon.com for draft position. Instead of doing playoff scenarios, now we're doing like, can the Niners get to the 14th pick? Can they take Ashton Jinty? I heard Kawakami bring it up. He's like, now you're not going to draft Ashton Jinty, but what if Ashton Jinty is there? And he's the closest thing to, what are you going to do? It's a conversation from the time, but there's something to be said for McCaffrey's coming off a PCL. Guerrero doesn't have a long track record, and the track record he has is not a clean bill of health. He doesn't get through seasons. And that's it. Those are your running backs. I texted my buddy John Dickinson, who covers the 49ers for KNBR today, when the inactives came out for the game. And I said, last time the Niners played the Rams, the Niners lost, and Sean McVay patted Kyle Shanahan on the back of the head post-game, and the photo went viral. Both of these guys try to do stuff against each other. It would have really been a bold move if the Rams had tried to end the 49ers season with Cody Schrader active. But Cody Schrader was not active today for the Rams. And you can see why. They got good running backs. James with a super chat. Do you think Purdy was pressing because the run game did nothing and Deebo was a non-factor? Just trying to understand. Yeah, I mean, it's sure. I guess that's not what it felt. I guess that's possible. Humans are humans. I thought this game, it was clear, was going to require a lot of patience. And it feels like Brock uncharacteristically lost patience at the end of the game when he threw the interception. That was an uncharacteristic play. If you're going to play, not if you're going to play, he plays a certain way, and you have to minimize mistakes to make that way work, right? So I thought he lost patience there. But outside of that, the fact that the Niners don't hit deep balls is not new information. The statistics historically are misleading with them, because there is a difference between deep crossers against zones and go balls. So my criticism or observation, it's not even a criticism, it is just a observation, is that when it comes to kind of straight line routes, right? One-on-one routes, the receiver has to win, the receiver has to get a step, the quarterback has to throw what is a very difficult ball to complete, an over-the-top go ball or whatever you want to call it. They don't hit it. They don't hit it in games. They don't hit it in practice. They don't hit it in 2024. They don't hit it in 2023. They don't hit it in 2019. They do not hit it. And I think it's a personnel issue, a combination of their quarterback's strengths and weaknesses and their receiver's strengths and weaknesses. And today, when they had guys open downfield, requiring over-the-top plays, they didn't make them. Fine. They've been to multiple Super Bowls not making those plays. You can't be great at everything. I'd love for them to hit those deep balls. They don't. Fine. Don't throw them in the triple coverage. If you don't hit them in single coverage, you're not going to hit it in triple coverage. And that's I haven't watched Brock talk yet. Maybe some of you have. He would, of course, obviously, wants that one back, but it's not the throw he wants back, it's the decision. Uncharacteristic decision. It's hard for me to crush Brock for uncharacteristic decisions. Like big picture. You put him in that spot 20 times, he makes that throw. I don't know. Twice. I don't think he makes that throw usually. So that was a devastating play. The decision deserves to be criticized. It might have, it was part of a series of things that ended their season. When you're playing Matthew Stafford in a field goal game, you can't be the one that makes the mistake. He can. That's, he kind of giveth and taketh. He plays with fire, but then he's clutch. Brock had the chance to be clutch in this game. If he doesn't throw that ball, he throws a different one. We're talking about a 3rd down and 4, and then he's got a chance to make a play. Or they kick a field goal and he set him up for the game-tying field goal. It's like they had chances. He had chances. And sometimes you only get there's never one moment in a game until there is, because then the clock runs out and now this is your last chance. In the first quarter, it's not your last chance. At the end of the game, it's your last chance. And we got down to this last chance, and he missed Pearsall and took a sack, and he threw an interception. And it was just not inspiring. Nathan says, I think Brock was forcing the ball because he was frustrated, drops, no conversions, etc. Maybe. I mean, the ball he threw to Pearsall, I don't think. Now, John Dickinson, who I mentioned a moment ago, texted me and said Jennings was open on the play. He's watching it from the press box. But I'm fine. Throw the ball to Ricky Pearsall. He's open. Go get it. I'm fine with that decision. The force, the only force, unless I'm forgetting one, but the force was the Jennings play. And maybe it was frustration. Like, enough of this. Let's just go. But that wasn't the right one. That wasn't the one to make. Because it wasn't there to be made. Big drop on that final drive before that. Yeah, that was a bad throw to Pearsall was open. All right. Let's get Connor in here. What have I missed? Anything that needs to be addressed that I haven't gotten to here?
I don't think so. I think this just sums up the season. Every season, or every game this season, there was one unit that was off. Special teams was a constant, of course, but tonight the defense was great. The offense sucked. Throughout the season, the offense has been hit and miss, and then the defense sucks. And I think this just sums it up. You miss opportunities, 1 unit's off, and I guess Jake Moody was really good tonight.
That's true. And it was a game where you needed him. Like,
yeah,
it was really going to make a difference. Yeah, 2 misalignment penalties on punt play.
That's true. That's true.
No, you said special teams. Like I'm not blaming Moody. I'm just saying
on
like the Niners
on
committed.
punts.
Yeah, on punts.
Yeah. Other than that, that's good for the Niners. Remember that.
Yeah, you would take that. You would take that 17 weeks out of the year, 17 games out of the year, 100%.
No kick out of bounds. It was almost like when Deebo dropped the ball over the middle for a touchdown, pretty much game was over, almost. And it felt like Moody passed the baton. Moody then got confidence and just drilled it. 48 yards, drilled it down the middle.
The game wasn't over when he dropped that ball. What do you mean?
I don't know. Just watching the game, it felt like it. But
I mean, it was
third quarter.
Yeah.
On that note, Deebo throughout the season's been frustrated and acting like a diva. Is this the first diva? Is Deebo revenge game, calling out the coach, the play calling? Is this the first time a diva's done that and then played like Deebo played? You read the stats earlier. The drops, the penalty. Like if T.O. does this or if Des Bryant calls someone out, I feel like they go for 7 catches, 120 yards. But is this the first time this has happened?
You know what's crazy? I think it's the first time it's happened to Shanahan. You know, I'm trying to think as an offensive player just had, and it wasn't even, that's not even a fit. Like it wasn't that. Like it was so nothing compared to like Brandon Graham saying AJ Brown doesn't like Jalen Hurts. Like
that's crazy.
It's nothing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. This one's not even crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you what's kind of wild. You go back and look. He had 5 for 54 against the Jets to start the year. He had 8 for 110 against Minnesota week 2. And obviously Ayuk was a non-factor. He's had his last 3 games. I'm going to do total offense. 22 receiving yards, -1 rushing yard against Seattle. So 21 yards of offense. I guess I'm not counting, returns.
Yeah.
Green Bay, 21 yards receiving, no yards rushing. Okay. Buffalo, 20 yards receiving, no yards rushing. Chicago, 22 yards receiving, 13 yards rushing. So 35 total yards of offense. And tonight, 3 yards rushing and 16 yards receiving. So in a stretch where he's been non-productive, he was the least productive. 19 total yards of offense from Deebo Samuel tonight.
It's like 5 games or 4 games less than 100 yards. That's
total.
Brutal.
Yeah. Oh, good call.
Brutal. I mean, and also you mentioned it earlier, but the 49er receivers, Brandon Ayuk, he posted the story, kind of acting out of character almost, or acting like he was a little bit better. They almost act like they're in an upper echelon that they're not in. Like Deebo and Ayuk, they're definitely like tier below where they sort of act. And I get you have to play confident and be confident, but what's your take on that?
I've thought historically Deebo's complicated because he has carried a football team, which nobody does at times. But yeah, definitely this year with Ayuk, Deebo late for several years now has been paid beyond, his production. And Ayuk this year was before he got hurt. So, you need Ayuk to come back with a vengeance badly. Like you need him in the right headspace when he comes back, ready to prove people wrong or whatever it is that he needs to do. But that's what you need. Can you weigh in on this? Because, a lot of people in the chat, you can play judge here. A lot of people in the chat say, guy, stop. Criticize Kyle. You have to criticize Kyle for force feeding Deebo. What's your take?
I disagree with you. I think he was force feeding Deebo. Whenever play 1 goes to Deebo, or like the first, we can count the plays. Who else you
gonna give it to?
Well, I mean Kittle, and they did try to get.
They did,
but I mean I know you don't have many players, but it did feel like part of the reason was like let's make Deebo happy. It did feel like that. The run, Deebo's head is gone. He ran into his running back. He had a tackle too, added to his stats.
I don't know what that was.
I think he was. I think that's part of because
Couldn't I? Let's say I agree with you, and everybody else that says that. Couldn't I argue the only chance in hell you have is to get Deebo going? You know, like it'd be like, Connor, you're the second leading scorer on my offense, and you like say like I need the ball more, and I'm a basketball team, and I come out and run a play for you, and people are like, why are you running it to Connor? It's like, because I fucking need Connor. You need Deebo. You guys, we're talking about you have a 50-50 shot to win the playoffs, to get to the playoffs if you win 4 in a row, if you beat the Rams, if you beat the Lions, if you beat the Cardinals, if you beat Miami. You planning on doing that with Deebo getting 20 yards a night? Kyle's probably looking at it going, you know what? No shit. He had 20 yards last week. He does need the ball more. Maybe I should change my take from he wasn't forcing it to him to you damn right he was forcing it to him. What other option did he have?
Yeah, I get that. They're banged up. There's no CMC. There's no IU. I don't know. I mean, he called for it, and then the first play was to Deebo. Like the first 2 series felt like they're catered around Deebo.
You got to catch it.
You
got to catch it. Like Deebo, you knew yesterday that was going to be the first play of the game, right? Like we got the script. We ran through the first 15 and walked through whatever. You knew that was the first. Bro, catch the ball. Now, good coverage, but catch the ball.
You know, there's two plays that hit 2 balls that hit the Niner players in the chest. One was Hufanga. He has a club on his hand. The other one was Deebo Samuel, who called for the ball on Tuesday.
He got hit in the chest twice. I mean, he got hit in the ball that he dropped that would have been a touchdown was a perfect throw.
Yeah. Brock. Let's talk Brock.
Okay.
Why did it feel like every third down that he threw a one-on-one ball to Juwan Jennings in the rain? I know there were some outbreakers, some inbreakers. Like early in the game, there were some good drives. Like the out to Jennings is a great play. Down like the middle of the game, it felt like a one-on-one ball, throw it up to Jennings.
Interesting. I mean, Jennings is a first down machine. It didn't feel that way to me, so that's an interesting observation by you. I mean, the Deebo drop was a 3rd and 8. They snuck it on the 3rd and short. This crazy. There are no possessions in the second half because they had that 9-minute drive. How about? I'm just going through my third downs here. How about the 3rd and 11 where Brock jumps into nobody because he had the jump throw to Garendo earlier. So I know what he was thinking, but he just jumps into nobody. Let's see. 3rd and 11. Oh, he had a 3rd and 11 where he stepped up and maybe you couldn't tell on TV, but one of them said they thought he was going to get a first down and he gets sacked trying to pull out of there.
Yeah, no scrambles for Brock, really.
3rd and 9. You know, he had their 5th possession of the first half. There were so many possessions in the first half. They had 7. He made there were like as this game was starting, the notes I'm making are like, oh, Brock making some throws. He made a throw that Jennings couldn't make the catch on. That was a really
where he stepped up in the pocket.
How he got the ball out, how Purdy got the ball out, let alone on target, was really impressive. The throw before that was a 2nd and 19. He threw a deep ball to Kittle, or 2nd and 9, maybe. 2nd and 9. He threw a deep ball to Kittle that was, or 19, whatever. I don't know. He threw a deep ball to Kittle on the left side. I thought Kittle got interfered with twice, but the ball was right there, and it was, he didn't catch it. 3rd and 6 is when he jumped into the sack. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. 3rd down on this 3rd series, he threw a ball to Kittle over the middle that I thought there was PI on. So I don't. What by my very unofficial. I think I've got like 2, maybe 3 3rd down throws to Jennings, but I don't know how many 3rd down throws they made. There were only 12 3rd downs in the game. They got 3 of them. So
yeah, one of them was an out to Juwan in the 2nd quarter, and
they hit one, right?
They hit one. They hit one an out to a Kittle choice route. But I saw the same thing you saw with Brock stepping up. Juwan's going to make that catch over the middle. The one where he hits him. He hits him in the hands.
He had another drop too to start the beginning of this. Was it the beginning of the very beginning of the second half?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the very beginning. The very beginning was the longest run of the game to that point. Isaac Garendo, 8 yards.
Yep.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
2. I mean, all this talk about Brock and the weather. Should Jed York build a dome to ensure the December wins?
I was trying to hype Alyssa up because she went to the game with a friend, and she was texting me. She's like, "This game is so boring." I'm like, "No. You are there. You are at this game. Like, imagine you may never see another game like this, and you get to be at this game." And she's like, "I'm soaking wet." I'm like, "Yeah, in the rain, you get to be at this game."
Yeah.
She was not buying it.
Yeah.
She was not buying
Seen
it.
a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, pouring rain, and it's one of those games where you find a way to win it, and it's like, we found a way to win, and we did it without you, Deandre Campbell. Get out of this locker room, but you lose the game. It's
just missed opportunities everywhere. On
Yeah.
the first half, it was the interceptions for field position, and then second half, the Pearsall play. He was wide open. Pearsall got open. Brock underthrew him. Forced one to Juwan. I mean, I think they should. I think target Kittle. To answer your other question earlier, target Kittle.
Sure.
Kittle prime time. Keep going.
I agree.
Him
throw him 15 ball. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Throw him 15. That's fine. I think the underrated. Again, it's not a bad. The ball to Deebo, not the drop, but the other middle ball to Deebo, deeper, that gets broken up, goes through the defenders and through Deebo's arms. Like, that ball was underthrown.
Yeah, badly.
Well,
even the Kittle one on the sideline you said was interfered with. It was a good ball, but it was also a little bit underthrown.
It was. You're right. It was.
It came out and it kind of sailed. You can just see it.
Yeah,
it's a concern.
Fans would love a dome, but the FAA wouldn't allow it.
It was a good video. There's a great video on that. There's a bunch of YouTubes on.
Yeah, Brody Brazil.
That's him. Yeah,
Brody did a great video on it.
Yeah.
I was at Thanksgiving, and like my dad and our friend, they're just like, I hear them talking, like I can tell they're talking about a Brody Brazil video. I'm like, these guys are over here talking about, like, the A's River Cats or whatever.
Yep.
But yes, Brody's a pilot, and he did an FAA height, like it was like a real video.
It was a math
It was
lesson.
good. Yeah, it was math. There was a lot of math. Comment, Tim says, if Connor had a thicker neck, he could double for Nick Bosa. You ever get that? The Zero Bosa brother?
No, but I think that's way
see
off.
His quads. You should see Connor is at the
we have similar contracts.
Similar contracts. Yeah. You can find Connor often at the what is that gym on Polk? Like Polk and
the Bay Club.
Union?
Oh.
Huh? Oh yeah, the Bay Club. You can find Connor at the Bay Club. No, what is that gym on Polk and Union?
Oh, I'm blanking. I don't go there. It was an old movie theater.
Yeah. That's all right. You don't have to look it up. No, I don't. Don't put any.
I'm thinking of it. What's your? I mean, okay. Question about Sorensen. Before the game, you went into. This was a good Sorensen game. It was.
Hold on. Comment. Okay. More like Aiden Hutchinson face.
Oh, damn.
Oh, he's a good-looking guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorensen.
Did he have a great game, or was it pouring rain in the first half?
I mean, yeah. Yes, both things. The Rams got 12 points. If you told me it's raining, how many points do you think the Rams get tonight? I'd be like, 24. Like, it didn't rain the whole game. Now, there were no possessions in the second half, but I mean, Kyron Williams, it felt like he made a bunch of plays. He was 3.7 yards a carry. Puka had 7 for 97. If you told me before the game, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are going to combine for 7 catches for 97 yards and no receiving touchdowns. And by the way, Puka's going to get a 51-yarder. I'd be like, of course he's going to get a 51-yarder. Well, yeah. So that means he's 6 for whatever, 46 on the other. Great. Again, coming out of a timeout and busting a coverage on the snap of the season.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but part of me is like, yeah, that's, I mean, it wasn't Malik Mustafa out there. It was Talanoa Hufanga made a mistake.
Yep.
And Diamador Lenore was yelling at him, and it was too late. And you would have loved to have called a timeout, but it was too late. Comment. I wonder what the team feels about Campbell quitting. Is it an outlier, or is Kyle possibly seeing a bit of a mutiny in his locker room? Is Campbell a symptom of the players giving up on Kyle? No, I don't think so. I mean, I've said this. When as many things go wrong as they've had go wrong, everything is up for evaluation, right? Like everything needs to be evaluated in your offseason. And everybody always says that's the case. And, whatever. Some people fix it, some people don't. So Kyle Shanahan's going to have the chance to fix it this offseason and has earned every right to do that and more. But, we talked about it, I think, last week or the week before, because RG3 said if you watch the tape, like, they're not playing hard, which I said I didn't think was true. And I don't think it's true. And for all of, whatever Kyle's flaws are, and we could list them, he's not flawless. I think the one thing you would say is his team doesn't quit on him or themselves or whatever, however you want to word it. And Deandre Campbell has a history of being a guy that blames other people. So, no, he's not, quote unquote, one of them. He's not their type of guy. They signed him out of desperation. It was immediately clear that he was not going to be a problem solver. The hope was just that he wouldn't just be a problem. And in the end, in the biggest game of the year, you would think you could nut up in the biggest game of the year and play off the bench. By the way, like, this isn't baseball. That's the other crazy thing to me about football. Like, it's not baseball. Oh, I didn't start, which means you sit on the bench for 8 innings. You didn't go play he would have played the most snaps of the. Maybe again, a lot more snaps in the first half than the second half. Get out of here! Like, they got problems.
Bad.
Their guys not playing hard and playing for each other or whatever ain't one of them, but it's one of his.
I mean, that's a bad apple. You have the chat pointing it out.
That's a bad apple.
Trent Williams is playing, or he's there.
Was he?
Mooney, he wasn't playing, but he was there.
But no, sincerely. Did they show him?
They think they showed him later on.
They did? Okay.
Because they missed on the first one. But Mooney Ward's there playing through trauma, like terrible things happening.
Yeah. And
Deandre Campbell's throwing a fit on the crunch time because a player much better than him is coming back to replace him. That's unreal.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, hey, just even if you think everybody's wrong and that you're better than Dre Greenlaw, maybe read the room and understand that Dre Greenlaw is just the beating heart and soul of the team. Maybe you sit this one out.
Watch the first half. Watch.
I know. That's like, when did Deandre walk off? Because at some point there was video of him walking off.
I don't know what part of the game it was, but there is a video.
So it's like, did he walk off before or after Dre Greenlaw had 9 first half tackles?
I don't know. I also love, you could just feel the energy on defense with Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga back. Like, Greenlaw's like punching guys in the face after a tackle. Like, just like
he almost put Hufanga in the protocol. He made a tackle. Hufanga comes up to him and starts flexing in his face, and he headbutts Hufanga.
Yeah. They had the swagger back for a second. It looks like he left third quarter, by the way.
He left third quarter.
Yeah, so right around
which time. Is really weird because there was definitely opportunity to play. So maybe that's what maybe he's willing to sit behind Greenlaw in the first half, but once it becomes D winners, or I guess not even D winners, Demetrius Flanagan Foles, then he's mad. Maybe we'll have to.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. But. Okay, he walked off in the third. Yeah. Whatever. Doesn't matter when he walked off, but I am kind of curious, like which guy got on the field that pissed him off? Because if he walked off in the third, it wasn't Greenlaw. It was they come out for the second half. he's not on like that. Maybe that's what it was. Is like Winters got banged up in the first half. I think was it Winters or Flanagan Foles that started the second half? I think it was Winters, right? So maybe that's the point where she gets pissed.
Crazy. He joins Vontae Davis and Antonio Brown to quit mid-game.
Vontae Davis retired.
Retired, I guess.
It would have been. Did he retire mid-game? If a guy retires mid-game, you should be able to replace him on the active roster for the second half.
Yeah. What about this comment? What do you think about Purdy, where it stands right now?
After the Packers and Bills, Purdy went to 35 to 40 million. After last week, he looked like 45. After this game, back to 40 million. I think when you look at quarterback salaries annually, you're looking at around. You would have to feel good. I know some of you would say I don't, but I think you would have to feel good about $45 million a year. Now I heard somebody say, who said this? Maybe it was Barrows and Kawakami were talking about it. Somebody said, Mahomes is making 45, but Mahomes, it's a $450 million contract that the Chiefs aren't going to try and get out of. So Mahomes is going to, he's making 45 because even though it's not a full 450 guarantee, he's got 450 basically coming to him. I'll tell you this though.
I was also signed 4 years ago.
And yeah, it was signed. Yeah. Yes. In terms of total guarantees, Dak 231, 60. No. No. Where's the right vicinity? 100, 110 fully guaranteed, 45 a year, somewhere in that range. Like that's the right vicinity. Review of the game? Quote unquote, it was crap.
Yeah.
per source. Yeah, so that's where are you at with that?
45's Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes. Kirk signed it this year. I mean, that would be a dream. I think you've seen the best of Brock, you've seen the worst of Brock, the worst being the Ravens, the Browns tonight, where he's under 50% completion percentage. And I think you live with that. I think Kyle knows he can win with that. And if you get it, you don't have to reset the market. And Parag is going to be the guy, hopefully, that doesn't have to reset the market. So I think you live with 45. Yeah. And I think
now yeah. Sorry, keep going.
I think you live with 45. And yes, I think you'd be happy with it because it's really hard to find a quarterback unless Sam Darnold wants to come home.
It's funny you say that. I was just about to look up Slinging Sammy's numbers. You could always get the guy that's better than Darnold. Trey Lance.
Yeah. Pretty cheap.
Wait, sorry. I thought the other day it's not fair to keep bringing it up. And then I thought, no, I should actually bring it up every chance I get. Not to take a shot at Trey Lance. Just to remind people that people mocked me last year for saying I thought Sam Darnold would be a good player. And that I said before last year, I thought this is PC as in pre-Connor, so you don't have the tape on this. I said before last season, I thought Kyle would look for an opportunity to get Sam Darnold in a game. And I didn't mean like week 18. Like that it was Kyle's deep hope, not to come at the detriment of Brock, but he believed in Darnold. He got Darnold. He was rehabilitating Darnold, and that he'd want to see Darnold in a game. It never happened. Not not really. Not week 18. It never happened. Darnold is currently leading the league in completion percentage and yards. Is that correct? And yards per attempt and touchdowns? No. Does he lead the league in touchdowns? 28 and 10. Does he lead the league in sacks?
Burrow.
Okay, all right. Apparently, I got to go somewhere else than Wiki. Wiki, on Football Reference, when they bold it, it means the guy leads the league in that category. Do you have Darnold? Are those Darnold's numbers? I mean,
28 and 10 are Darnold's numbers. Burrow has 33 touchdowns, 6 picks, and his team doesn't have a winning record.
Which is just so counterintuitive. It's crazy. But, okay, so here's what I would say.
sorry, Sam Darnold is third in touchdowns, 28.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I watched him practice last year. I thought Brock was better than him. I think Brock's probably better than him. I think Brock is better than him. Don't tell me Brock can have the year that Darnold's having. He had it last year. So, whatever. But I do think the Vikings were in a weird spot because I thought they were, and I said this before the year, it's on the record. I thought they were crazy to just go to JJ McCarthy instead of like they're just going to pat like Sam. What? No, do the Darnold thing. Let JJ sit. So now what do? Does JJ sit another year? Do you bring Sam back? But I'll tell you the guy that's going to end up a 49er at some point or another, because I've seen a lot of the Kirk Cousins stuff in the chat. Like I think we should be past that. And I'm certainly not considering replacing Brock Purdy with Kirk Cousins. No, we're not doing that. It's not even a consideration. In 2 years, again, this is not what I'm about to say. This is not a Brock Purdy replacement conversation I'm even having. But just like Sam Darnold, at some point, Mac Jones will find his way onto the 49ers. I'm not trying to be funny or any of that. Like, he will find his way onto the 49ers at some point. And I'm not sure, like, he's not Sam in terms of just, like, they'll have a better idea what kind of guy he is as a backup, because that matters. Are you willing to be a backup quarterback? Sam Darnold is, like, you can't find, he's just, like, you like having Sam Darnold around. I don't know. I don't know enough about Mac. But it got weird in New England. I don't know if you like having Mac Jones around. He did some weird stuff, right? So I don't know if he fits, but
you're saying if Kyle doesn't get his wish with Kirk Cousins eventually coming a Niner, he's going to get his wish with Mac Jones becoming a Niner, one way or another.
Yeah. And it may mean nothing. I mean, it probably will mean nothing.
I mean, having a good backup.
I can't believe we're talking about this on December 12th.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But having a good backup is so critical. When Brock went out, Brandon Allen was not the guy. And you see it throughout the league every single year. But yeah, there's no way imagine Kirk Cousins behind this offensive line in 2024.
Yeah.
Bad.
Comment, Mac Jones stinks. I've watched him in Jacksonville. Your scouting report is probably correct, but that was the same scouting report as the Sam Darnold scouting report. Question: will Shanahan play rookies? Who should we watch? Well, I mean, this is a conversation for the next 3 weeks. He has been playing rookies. Malik Mustafa was hurt previously to this game, so he did not play. Bernardo Green's been playing. Isaac Arendo's been playing. Dominic Pooney's been playing. So Tatum Bethune. I mean, the rookies have been playing. Will Fred Warner sit out the rest of the year is definitely a question that will be asked. To be honest, I know I think that's been treated like a foregone conclusion. I'll be a little bit surprised. Fred, if indeed it's just a pain tolerance issue and it cannot get any worse. And the reason I'll be surprised, A, is just the way Fred has kind of gone about his career, but B, I got to look. I think when we look at, 3 games is potentially a lot of games in the 49er linebacker, like the all-time tackles list for the 49ers. He does not have more than Willis. And he's going to, wow. I mean, he's played now the same. I don't know if this counts tonight, but he is now, think about this. Fred Warner has now played the same number of games as Patrick Willis. 112 career games.
Whoa.
Again, I'm on StatMuse, so maybe he played 113. He might have passed Willis today. But that's probably the most, period, for I'm just looking at the top 25 list of Niners tacklers. That's the most on the team. What's funny is he has 100 more assisted tackles and about 180 fewer overall tackles. He's got more picks. He's got, they're different players. But anyway, the point is, he's got a chance to be the 49ers all-time record holder at tackles, which is significant when they just have such a storied history, and he'll be he'll be a Hall of Famer, part of the storied history of no, I think today was 112. I think he tied Patrick Willis's games played today. So I don't know. I mean, he's 28. He'll be 29. He'll start next season as a 28-year-old. He just turned 28 in November. So I guess you could. I'm just thinking it through. He doesn't need these 3 games. Maybe. What does he average tackles per year? 130. So 130. He's got whatever he did today plus 91. So maybe he's around 198 probably. So let's say 30 tackles. That would put him. If he's like a season and a half away from breaking Patrick Willis's record. So 3 games gets him there a little bit quicker, but I don't know what you do with Dre Greenlaw now. Because if you're Dre, like if you're the Niners, like there's got to be a real conversation here about, okay, Dre Greenlaw, we want you back, but you have to be healthy. And it's, what do? Do you sit him down and say, and try and negotiate a cheap 1-year contract with him? If you're him, you want to play and earn money in the next 3 weeks, but you have to feel like you risk the possibility of being injured again.
I think the first half proved his value immensely.
Yeah, but
immensely.
But then he got hurt. Like,
yeah. Yeah, but I would. But what's the going rate for not a linebacker 2 on a good team, a really good linebacker 2? What's the going rate?
Well,
for that?
Coming off an Achilles, it's not very high. But that's a good question. But like, can he make a bunch of money in the next 3 weeks, or is he better off shutting it down, making sure he's 100% healthy, playing next year, 1-year deal, don't make a lot of money, but a 1-year deal, ball out. It'd be devastating if he gets hurt in the next 3 weeks. Permanent, again.
If you're his agent, you're his team. Are you pushing to play, or what are you doing?
Man, it's really hard. I mean, you're trying to get some sense of his market. You probably spent some time this season getting a sense of his market. I don't know, dude. I'd be tempted to tell him don't play.
And then start negotiating. And
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You have to know, if we shut him down, what's our offer, Parag? Let's just say we tell Dre Greenlaw, sit down. What are you going to offer me? 1 year, $4 million? What are you offering me? Because if that's it, maybe I play the next 3 games.
It's so unfortunate because he's so much more valuable than that, but that is the market. That's what he's in there is what he's going to get. But is another team going to put the Panthers going to go 2 years, and give him a longer contract? Teams that have money.
Texans.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think anybody's given him a 2-year contract.
I mean, he proved how critical he was just in the first 3 series alone. He was everywhere. They highlighted him tonight. But yeah, it's injuries. And
my God, he looked amazing.
And that's the season. This is the 2020 season all over again in a way.
Yeah.
And the next year they went to the NFC Championship game.
Where did they draft in the 21 draft?
They traded up from 12 and picked up Trey Lance.
Wait a second. I remember the 2021 draft.
They picked up Trey Lance, who
Cam Ward. You see Travis Hunter won Travis Hunter won a bunch of awards today.
Oh, he did? Most snaps award?
I don't know if he won. Did he really? Okay, so I thought he won the Biletnikoff Award, which goes to the top receiver. And I saw some people are mad because Nick Nash at San Jose State. Guys, he had a few more catches, a few hundred more yards, a couple more touchdowns. With all due respect, he's not winning the award over Travis Hunter. it's just the amount. It's just, you're not going to, anyway. And he won. What did he win? The bed. Did he win? No, not the, what was his other? He won like a
Bednark award.
Oh, he did win the Bednarik. No, I'm not saying that correctly. Bednarik. Chuck Bednarik. I don't know. I've suddenly forgotten how to say it. But yeah, he won both of those. I'm not. You ever get a word where you just suddenly forget how to say it? That's what I'm with Chuck. With all due respect to you and your family and the award, I can't believe I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Bednarik. It's not Bednarik. Bednarik. The Bednarik.
I have no idea.
I still don't think I'm saying it right. Anyway, he won the offensive. So it gives you an idea. Like, I think the odds for him to win the Heisman, I think you had to bet 125 to win $1 at last check. Like, not 125 to 1 to 125. I did vote for the Heisman. I've turned my vote in Monday. Connor knows what I voted because I screenshotted it and showed him. But I'm not allowed to tell you. That's Bednarik. I think I said that right this time. I think I finally said it right. Yeah. There was a great comment in here. Somebody said, can you talk about Puesto so we have something positive to talk about? We'll take you to Puesto. We got to go to Puesto.
Would love to.
The Niners are not at home, so this is not a Puesto ad week, but, whatever. Like, Puesto is fantastic. They don't have to pay me to tell you that. 2 locations in the Bay Area, 1 in Concord, 1 in Santa Clara. This is not even a paid ad. They got La Jolla. They got San Diego. They got 2 locations at the Levi's Stadium. And they got amazing food. And they're Niner fan. I got a text here from Eric Adler. Eric does 2 things. Loves the Niners and just helps run him and his family, him and his brothers, they run just a killer Mexican restaurant. So, hey, it's time now for Connor to go through next year's Niners schedule. The good news is the Niners are locking in that last place crossover schedule, right? No more Lions. No more Lions. No more Chiefs. That's the good news.
I mean, it's how you bounce, but it's how you go from worst to first. Every single year in the NFL, there's a worst to first, and this is a little bit of cheat code. The Niners have a great roster, and they're going to play the NFC and the AFC South. That is a godsend for 2025.
It is. Schedule's weird. It's not the year that you're going to make a bunch of money reselling your tickets on the secondary market. I don't think. It's like, hey, Buccaneers are coming to town. What is the Niners' best? This is really, now we're doing a show for another day. But what is the Niners? Sean on the stream says, what are the odds of Deebo taking 19 back next year? I mean, what is the best? Like, if you said right now you can buy 1 ticket, 49ers. We talked about this the other day. It's a very, we're kidding, but when people talk about your first place or your last place schedule, it's only 3 games. Their best home game, Levi Stadium right now, non-divisional, so not the Rams, not the Seahawks. You can pick 1 game to go to. For Christmas, you're going to get 1 home game. What would be the best ticket to buy somebody? What do you think the answer is? Are you looking at it?
The NFC North TBD game.
The last place team out of the NFC North?
I mean, that or the NFC East, because you're at the Texans, you're at the Colts. Those are the most intriguing, I would say. But I would say something in the NFC. Probably the NFC North, because either that's Caleb,
okay.
I would say that. What about you?
I get to see Chicago again. But maybe they got a new
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson's not. Ben Johnson is not taking that job. Prediction. NFC East. I mean, Dallas is not going to finish in last place, right? So that's the Giants.
The Giants. So Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Okay. Tennessee. Who's their quarterback next year? Jacksonville. Carolina. Atlanta. God. Which is good. This is good. But, oh, my God. There is nothing on here. All 6 Niners primetime games next year are going to be divisional games. There is not one.
It's gross.
There is not one game. Oh, it's Houston, at Houston Texans.
Yeah, D'Amico revenge game. D'Amico Kyle. What
I mean,
what is
Texans
the?
are 8-5. They're not exactly on a heater right now.
That's a sophomore slump out of Stroud.
Hold on, you're about to ask an interesting question.
Yeah, what is like?
Hold on, hold on. Connor's about
yeah.
to ask an interesting question, but Connor also is doing a good job producing, and he reminded me that it is time to get to PrizePicks. PrizePicks code guy. Go to PrizePicks. Use the link down in the description, or just use the code guy. When you sign up with code guy, you immediately get $50 into your account. All you got to do is make a $5 lineup, win or lose. A $5 lineup. By the way, I had a lineup that had more than 274 passing yards for Brock and Matthew Stafford today. Did not hit. All right, time to make a lineup. Show you how easy it is. I love making lineups for the weekend, and this will get me right back in the action quick. Now, I already used Patrick Mahomes is 99% off right now. Half a passing yard. Half a passing yard is the number for Patrick Mahomes this week. I already used that. But if I hadn't used it, I would use it here. I'm going to go with Joe Mixon, more than half a touchdown against the Dolphins. Miami has allowed 15 total touchdowns to running backs this year. That's tied for the 6th most in the league. He's got at least a touchdown in 7 of his 10 starts this year. Last week, he had over 100 yards. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go Scary Terry. I'm going to go more than 67.5 receiving yards against the Saints. Commanders are coming off a bye, so this offense should be ready to finish the season strong. They're not really getting pressured by anybody, but go have a good game. 3 out of the last 5 games, he has had more than that number, so I feel good about that. And then I'm going to go, now it's Sunday night, it's going to be cold, but I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba, more than 65.5 receiving yards for Seattle against Green Bay. Packers 22nd in pass defense allowed. Jackson Smith and Jigba emerging as the clear number 2. I mean, Tyler Lockett's getting, released this offseason. Geno is 5th in passing attempts per game. 36 times a game, Geno's throwing the ball. I say sign him up for another 5 years. So, yeah, here's the lineup. You can power play it, try to win all 3. Let's do that. 20 wins, 85. You can flex play, which kind of a hedge. You just need 2 out of 3. You can go up to 6 in your lineup. You can win up to 1,000x your money right now at PrizePicks. Code guy. And let's make another lineup. Again, Mahomes, you can just go more than half a yard this week. Mahomes is more. It's Picksmas. That's what they're calling it. All right, next lineup. We're going to go Adam. I should have done, Connor, is made this a 6-player lineup, gone big, but I didn't do it in time. I'm going to go Adam Thielen, more than what's his receiving number? Do I want to go bigger here? Thielen. Yeah, let's bump. 79.5. Don't love that. I'm going to go 69.5. Still, that's good. Receiving yards. Adam Thielen has him and Bryce Young got a little thing going. He had 102 yards against Philly. He had 99 against Tampa. Philly's got a good secondary. I'm going to go Brian. We've done this a few times with Brian Robinson Jr. More than half a touchdown for Washington against New Orleans. The Saints have allowed 16 rushing touchdowns this year. Brian Robinson has 8 touchdowns in the 10 games that he's played. He had a big week 13 performance, 103 yards and a touchdown. So we'll go with him there, more than half. And then we're going to go with Amon-Ra. Remember we've been debating Ayuk, Amon-Ra. I'm going to go Amon-Ra, more than 5.5 receptions. Let's see if I flex play it, 20 wins 70. So this is going to be good here. 20 wins 120. I like that idea. So we're going to go with that. And bam. Now those will not be the last lineups that I make. Those will not be the last lineups that I make for PrizePicks. You got it for the NBA. I love doing NBA rebounds. I love involving kickers, whatever you want to do. PrizePicks, code guy, make a $5 lineup. You immediately get $50 into your account. And whether you win or lose, bam, it's right there. So appreciate that. They know you supported the show. when you use the code guy, and there you go. Here's a comment from Chris. Over under Deebo 12 yards. That's more or less to you, sir. More or less. How do I reappear on this screen? Here we go. That's not it. Oh, here we go. I figured it out. I sent a message actually to PrizePicks, and I said, and I did send this message. I'm not being funny. I said, can we please get a more or less half of a special teams disaster, but I want one of the combined Cowboys plus Niners. I want Niners plus Cowboys, more or less than half a special teams disaster. And they said they'll work on it. They'll try and get special teams disaster.
Free money.
That's free money. It is. That's money. That's Picksmas.
That's Picksmas. That is exactly.
God, if there's no joy in your Niners season other than like, hey, we suffered, but Dominic Pooney. If there's no joy in your Niners season, at least there's also suffering in Dallas.
That's true. That's true. The Niners season, special teams, the one day, this was outside of the Cardinal game, the first Cardinal game, this was the best special teams performance and the offense couldn't do it. It was always one unit. No matter what, there's always one unit.
All right, you were going to ask me a question before I did the PrizePicks read.
There's 3 games left. As a 49er fan, what should you be rooting for? What does success look like? Is it Purdy and Pearsall showing chemistry, the Niners losing by a touchdown because Fred Warner and Bosa are sitting? Is it what should we navigate towards as fans to hope for in the final stretch?
Well, the best possible draft pick. It's painful to go through that, because the best possible draft pick right now, the Niners are 6-8. So let's just say you lose 3. Right. 6-11 sucks. There's a big difference between you missed the playoffs and went 8-9, and you missed the playoffs and went 6-11. There's not a big difference in June, but there's a big difference right now. It just feels terrible. And if you are not interested in Kyle Shanahan should be fired discourse, then, it's not ideal because it doesn't stop. Right. And I am not interested. To me, it's a non-starter. But anyway, the other thing is it's hard to lose the next 3 games and also feel good about Brock. So it's tricky. You'd love for Josh Dobbs to lose the next 3 games. Right.
Right.
But you don't get to just tap out with 3 games left if you're a quarterback. You don't get many of these games. Fans don't get many of these games. You don't get to, you don't see that in the NFL, really. Week 18, you see it.
Incentives.
But you don't just – oh, he has none.
No, but other players, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Is anybody close to their offensive incentives on this Niners team?
No.
So,
I don't know.
But if we're sitting looking back at this thing in June. So anyway, let's just talk about draft position for a second. Right now they are 6-8. Let's just say they don't win another game. What pick does 6 wins get you? Hard to say for sure because there's several teams with 6 or 5, and you don't know what teams are going to do down the stretch here. Well, I guess we know Dallas will keep losing, but I would guess that go back and look at last year, I guess is one thing we could do here, but I would guess 6 wins this year gets you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would guess 6 wins get you the 12th pick.
Yep.
The AFC is riddled with 3-win teams right now. Cleveland, Jacksonville, the Jets, Tennessee, New England, and the Raiders have 2 wins. Who's taking that job? Michael Lombardi?
The Titans were 7-10, and they were the 11th pick last year. So yeah, right around.
Was there not a 6-win team last year?
I think the Bears were a 6-win team. I'm just combing through here.
Oh, but they it's hard to find it if they traded the pick. Okay. I can tell you. You're looking at draft order.
Yeah, there's a lot of 7 and 10 2023 football teams.
I got Tennessee was 6. Is that what you said? There were 2 6-win teams last year, Tennessee and the Giants. And you said that got Tennessee the 12th pick?
11.
The 11th pick. I think there's going to.
I'm on 2 years ago. Excuse me. But it is right around the 10,
Okay,
11 pick. Yeah, it's right around there. Regardless, which is offensive tackle.
Yeah, or Ashton Shinty.
So to your point, losing the games, but then Brock playing well is then going to drive Brock's price higher, or it's just kind of a.
I mean, I don't think you get contract extensions for 4-game losing streak, or big, not extensions. It is he will get an extension, but yeah, I mean, I do think you could also look at it like the floor is set for, like, like he's not. They are not asking him to sign a contract that pays him $38 million a year. Like, it's not happening. Like 45 is the floor, top 12 guy, that feels like the floor. Now, I don't think you can go make 65 all of a sudden either, 60 by balling out in 3 losses. Like, it's just, so that's going to kind of take care of itself. It's more about just like the emotional damage it does to watch your franchise quarterback lose 4 games to end the season and have him not play well because you want a good pick. So it's a fine line to walk. You want him to play well, and you do want them to, like, at this point, losing games is better for your future. But not quitting. Like, losing but not quitting. It's a weird, like, you don't want the guys to quit, because there are a lot of guys coming back. But
and I think Ricky Pearsall with 2 touchdowns and 250 yards in the next few games, and maybe Ronaldo Green with a pick, and a good rookie class to finish it off, leaving a good taste in your mouth for the draft and for the bad schedule the Niners have. Bad as in good. NFC South, AFC South.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. He nailed the draft pick. Armando says Lombardi is at North Carolina with Bill. I know. Which actually, as somebody who liked, from like a brand, it's great for college football. That doesn't mean Bill's about to go win a bunch of games necessarily. Like the hire, which, by the way, I don't think the AD was, that happened above his head, as we guessed the other day when we talked about it, which means Bill got whatever he wanted. I like it a little. Like, I do think you needed, I would have liked to have seen them hire like a college guy as the GM, which maybe they'll still hire some other guy to do some stuff. I don't want to judge it too early, but I did have a college. It's funny enough, a college coach recently I was talking to about Michael Lombardi came up. He's like, God, that guy seems like he'd be hard to work for. He's just basing it off of his podcast. Or work with, he said, work with. So anyway.
It's going to be entertaining. Is UNC playing in a playoff game over under a year and a half?
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay, so
just
over? no, yeah, no in general.
I'm gonna go with no, dog. Yeah. All right. Well, there's so much more like big picture stuff we didn't get to today, but the game was painful enough that this game deserved. Bill versus Dabo is going to be fun. It is going to be fun. I wish North Carolina was playing somebody next year in the non-con. All right. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Check out Puesto this week. It's just amazing stuff. If you're looking for a unique holiday gift, check out Tamber.co. That's TAMBER.co. Family legacy interviews. Very unique, touching gift. Tamber.co. Go to the page. Send an email. Get more information. Appreciate that. Somebody said Connor loves gambling lines. Is that true? Connor loves college hoops.
Yeah.
And the NFL and college football. So yeah. Yeah. Connor loves gambling lines. Of course. Yeah.
Who doesn't?
All right. Good work today from Connor. Good work today from all of you. Appreciate y'all. And we'll talk soon.